All right. After a long off day, Life Without Sports is back with a vengeance. Mike and I worked so hard on Monday. Man, did
We
we
wore
have some sweat.
ourselves out.
We had some sweat equity going
Yes, we did.
on Monday. And, we're back, though, Mike. The good news is a lot of people, all three of them, asked me, where were you yesterday? I said, hey, don't worry. We'll come back on Wednesday.
Yeah, we forgot to
Day
put
ends
out a
in
post
Y.
saying we weren't working, but we're back.
We're
Better than
back.
before.
We left, though. You left us hanging with your plumbing issue.
Yes, yeah. So the plumber's coming tomorrow to fix the pipe. So we've been kind of putting the bowl under the sink routine to stop the damage, and then the service pros, I think that's what they're called, service masters. They're the people that come and dry it out. They're coming today. So we might have to cut this short if the guy shows up on the back door and knocks on the door. And
Now, that would be classic programming.
have you ever had
That's
that happen?
reality programming.
We've had this happen before. We had a sewer issue backup, and it's not pretty. I mean, they come in. This isn't going to be nearly as bad because it's a very small surface area. But they come in and they got to rip up the floors. They put these like giant blowers in there.
Inevitably, it turns into something you didn't expect.
Right.
When you call a guy.
Well, it's like the money pit. It's like you start with
Yes.
one little project, and all of a sudden, like the whole you're down to the studs.
It's the Tom Hanks movie. Yeah, the Money Pit.
Yeah.
No, that was
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long, early 80s classic. But I don't envy you. I put that bowl under the sink before. Doesn't do much.
Yeah.
It's the old bowl under the sink trick.
Yeah. Well, it's good until you forget to do it, and then it spills over. But we got 2-ply. We got the bowl, and then we went out to Lowe's on Monday and got, those like Tupperware that are, like, I don't know, 2 feet deep and like a foot wide. So we got 2 of those under there too. So we're.
And I would challenge you to find anyone, in perhaps with the possible exception of Larry David, anyone who's more lost in a Lowe's or Home Depot than yours truly. Anyone.
No, but
I am like a kid who's 8 in a Harvard level physics class.
Right.
I have no idea.
But what helps you is that they're trained to look for people with that wide-eyed, deer in the headlights look, and then they go right to you and go, "What can we help you with, sir?"
You would think that'd be the case, but every time I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm looking for someone to help me.
Right. Yeah.
I would agree. That would be good. That would be good business tactics.
Right.
But not so much the case. I have to go find somebody. Tell me where I can make my key.
You mean right next to me where the key machine is? Exactly.
How do I mix some paint? I have no idea what I'm doing. You go do it.
Yeah. This is what I want it to look like when it's done.
Right.
Go.
Buy me a hammer.
Yeah, buy me a hammer.
Give me some nails.
Yeah.
You don't challenge this, though. You know I'm bewildered by this.
Oh, I could see this coming from a mile away.
You could. I mean,
yeah, I understand.
You definitely not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm probably on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably about a 5 or a 6, where you're about a 1.5, 2.
I think I'm a -1.
You're a -1. Yeah.
I'm a minus.
Yeah.
Can't you see Larry David in a curb in a Lowe's or a Home Depot?
Well,
looking for anything.
But the scene is exactly what you're talking about, right? So, or what it would be, it'd be like somebody walking in front of him who is equally clueless. That person gets served immediately, and then he walks in 3 feet into the store, and there's nobody to be found. Or the best is, I'm not going to name a store. I have seen this, not at either of the 2 retailers that we've mentioned, but you walk into a place, and way down at the end of the aisle or way down to the right, there's like 4 of them in a cackle just talking. Meanwhile, there's people all over the place looking for stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. What is it, lunch break?
Well, when I first moved to Charlotte, I always tell people that the concept of fast food, it's more like medium fast food. Because if you get to the counter and the people that are working behind the counter are deep in discussion, they will wait for their discussion to finish before they ask you for your order. Not take your order, finish conversation. They just
no. You walk in and you'll be there for a long time if there's a conversation.
There's a conversation going on, and then if they have to ask like for a third party to mediate, forget it. You might as well just go to the one next door.
But I got to tell you, your favorite fast food establishment, Chick-Fil-A, not for their politics, but they do it the right way. I was there the other day again.
Dialed in.
they've developed a
Yeah.
pandemic strategy.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys have this in Massachusetts, but Popeyes is pretty good.
Well, of course, we had it across from Fenway Park.
Okay.
Popeyes and beer
Popeyes
for the
and
Red
beer.
Sox, 2011.
The beer and chicken episode.
Beer and chicken.
Was that really a
all about
Popeyes chicken?
Popeyes.
Oh
Yes.
my god, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, that's all about Josh Beckett and
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Lackey and
Wow.
everybody ordering beer and Popeyes.
So we really have Popeyes chicken.
I don't think I've been to Popeyes though.
We have Popeyes chicken to thank for the 2013 championship.
We do. It triggered it. Never would have happened without Popeyes.
Yeah, no, Popeyes is pretty strong. Now it's a completely different. It's not the same type of chicken that you get at Chick-Fil-A. So it's, but you remember, I think this was in like December, January. They had the big chicken sandwich square down between Popeyes and Chick-Fil-A.
I do remember that.
They came
that
out
was
with
all
the
the
new,
rage.
the new spicy chicken.
What's the big deal about the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
Well, it's just the whole. They just batter it differently, so it's a different type of batter. So it's more of like
more like KFC, right?
like no, well, in that category, but it's more like a Louisiana. So it's more about the spices that's in the batter.
So now you're talking more like Bojangles.
Yeah, but Bojangles, I would say, is more like if you buy the fried, if you buy the breaded chicken in a supermarket, it's that look. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
Yeah, Popeyes is it's totally different.
Yeah, see, Bojangles brings back great memories for me because it was my Sunday night stop in Charlotte.
Oh, Bojangles, yeah, the Bow Box. They can do the Bow Box now. You get like
the Bow Box was outstanding.
Now it depends on what you like, right? So you can get like the fried chicken, and it comes in different parts, right? Or you can get the Bow Box, and you can pick whether you want tenders. So they do it. So they're a big sponsor of the Panthers. So they do the Bow Box is basically a tailgate. So you just swing by, grab like 20 chicken tenders. Now biscuits are huge in the South, so they take pride in their the companies take pride in their biscuits down here. So you get biscuits, and then you get your sides. So obviously, you can go with your mashed potatoes and gravy. You can go with your mac and cheese. This is lunchtime as we're taping this, so you might have to. You guys don't have Bojangles up there, do you?
We don't have a Bojangles. There's a KFC in my vicinity, but I don't frequent it.
Maybe we should open a Bojangles up there.
I don't think it's like In and Out, how they don't go beyond the West.
I know.
Bojangles won't go beyond the Southeast. Yeah. But here's the thing about Bojangles. Great on Sunday night, not so good on Monday morning. You want to talk about plumbing issues?
Yeah. But it's tasty going down the first time. That's for sure.
It is. You have.
Yeah.
Is it a win? You tell me. Is it a win? I mean, is it worth it?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't have those same plumbing issues with Bojangles, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting deep.
Yeah. So this might be a you issue.
I think it's a
we issue.
There could be a wide swath of people who know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's anything. But that's anything if you do if you have too much of something. I think, right? So too much.
Well, here's the problem with like a Bojangles or I guess a Popeyes.
Yeah, but you're probably washing it down with a large sweet tea. So I think that combination of
oh boy,
all those ingredients probably isn't the right mix.
That's a resounding thud on a Monday morning. Yeah, it's.
Well, maybe more than one.
Yes. Oh boy, this is a tough transition from the toilet bowl to you make the call. Let's see.
From the toilet bowl, the Glenn Foley toilet bowl, which you referred to Rutgers. Remember that?
I do remember that.
The only bowl they're going to is the toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl.
That's one of the great all-time lines.
Great line, Glenn Foley, former BC quarterback. I think you got to look at college football talking about starting maybe in the spring.
Now, how's that a segue?
Well done, Mikey. Well done. He builds the bridge. That's why he's a professional.
Yeah. So you're thinking into 2021?
I don't like it. I don't like the idea at all. I think you have to factor weather into this. Like, how is BC going to play in February? How is any school? How's Penn State going to play in February? How is you name it? I mean, Alabama won't have.
Yeah, it won't be
those
as
schools
hard.
In the South. February is not a good month anywhere
Well,
except for Florida.
Well, February's not. Well, this past February wasn't. February's a mixed bag here. February can be 65 and sunny one day, and it can be 30 and sleet the next day. But you have more. I would say it's more likely to be the former rather than the latter. I mean, I think it's more likely to be nicer than not nice in February here in Charlotte. And obviously, when you look at West Coast, West Coast, and I mean like California coast, but I mean, you go into the interior on the west, and it can get kind of hairy too. I mean, Colorado's a little bit like here, where you could have a blizzard in February in Colorado, and the next day it's 70 degrees.
Yeah, I mean that's an issue. Obviously, the issue too is, all right, you're going to play without fans. Why not? If you're going to play without fans, figure out a way to play in September.
Well,
or October, or start the season later, like the NFL's contemplating.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where the real world really intersects with sports, John, because I think, and you and I have been on the cutting edge of this. We've been proponents of this from the get go, because it has to go hand in hand. And I'm starting to hear the drumbeat of people saying we got to reopen the economy. And look, John and I both are in positions where we want to see the economy open. Trust me, from our personal circumstances. Yeah. But I just think this to me the mistake. And look, I'm not pinning blame right now. Blame doesn't matter. The whole entire government, Democrat, everyone shares a piece of this, I think. But the fact that we're not at the point where everybody can get tested easily, to me, that's the issue. Like, if you can't guarantee testing often and with relative ease, then this is why this is taking so long. Because, where does one's freedom end and another person's begin? And what I mean by that is, okay, let's open everything up. But what if people are going, are so concerned about making money that they're not following protocols and going to work sick? So now your personal freedom to work is impeding my personal freedom not to get sick from you.
Right. How about this story today in Boston, where people that work for the airlines are getting sick at a rapid rate, and are they translating? All right, so they transmitting the disease to the passengers, some who are actually still flying.
Right.
People handling food, people handling luggage, people handling you name it. They're going to work.
Yeah. I also think, and this is my fear of coming back too early from a sports perspective. Remember when NASCAR said, or iRacing came out and said, we're going to do the NASCAR race. And everybody was like, oh, this is awesome. It probably drew in people that maybe hadn't really watched NASCAR ever or watched NASCAR in a while. And what's funny to me is this kind of mirrors NASCAR when you and I moved down here. NASCAR when you and I moved down here was huge. It was kind of at its apex. And then people kind of just drifted away from it. And it was the same thing with this iRacing, is people got into it for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then you had the Ryan Larson incident, and then it just kind of fizzled out, at least from the mainstream. People that are racing fanatics still love it, and it's great. But my fear with any sport coming back with no fans for a long period of time, and this isn't right, and I think diehards will watch. But I think the average person, there's only so much you can watch in an empty stadium, and you start to think that it's a spring training game or it's an exhibition game. And you kind of, I don't know, I think there's a mental factor there. And maybe people will be able to get over that. And I hopefully they will. I mean, I think it's great to get back and going. I just wonder if the allure to get back too quickly, there'll be that initial buzz, like almost like the XFL and the AAF. Right, I mean, the first 3 weeks of both of those, everybody was into it.
It's always right.
But then you looked at all the empty stadiums, and it just, and I hate to use this
doesn't
analogy.
Have the same feel.
Well, no, it's kind of like when we were growing up. You used to hang out in the alley. If you walk by any of those bars in the alley and there was no line, you're like, "What's wrong with this place?" But the one that was
to be one of those guys in the alley saying, "Hey, you want a little something?"
Yeah, you're an alley cat guy. But
I was an alley cat guy.
But no, but you know what I mean. Like, but it's or New York or LA has the same principle, right? You drive by a nightclub, and if the line's around the corner, you want to get in line. If the place next door it looks like it's beat up and there's nobody in there, you're not going in there unless you're really desperate.
No. Yeah, no, it's a valid point. I think the atmospheric games, the excitement around games, it's going to be lost. There's a lot going to be lost in the translation of if they can actually execute it, which Steve Kerr has said he thinks the NBA season's over.
Yeah.
NHL hasn't come out and said that. I think the NHL is confident they can pull it off playing into the summer.
Now, golf to me, the PGA makes complete sense because the crowds, unless it's a major, the crowds really aren't as big a factor as far as the viewing experience. Now, I think what's funny about golf is they got to make sure they turn the phones off in the booth, because you'll have all these at-home rules officials. I know they've kind of done away with that, but I could see the at-home rules officials would be on speed dial.
Yeah, he just touched a ball in the bunker when he wasn't supposed to. He just moved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, golf will be fine. Their ratings probably on June 11th will be higher than they've been in a long time since the Masters when they come back.
Yeah.
But baseball, football, hockey, and basketball, your primary spectator sports, you will lose a lot.
Well, I think, and I'll say this though, John, too. I don't know if people, the average person, I know people in sports, production care about this. Crowds are so important to a broadcast, whether it's radio or television. I mean, there's a reason why television trucks have two audio, sometimes more, but they have two audio guys, and they're miking everything up, because you want to get what that experience is like in the stadium at home. Doing a game, and trust me, I've done a lot of games in front of empty stadiums.
You and me both.
It just doesn't. I mean, listen to any Celtics playoff game, any Red Sox playoff game, and you equate, and then you do that against a game from like a single A team. And granted, the scale's different, but the point I'm trying to make is the atmosphere when you're listening to a game. We've just become so accustomed to that roar of the crowd.
What do we like most about sports? Drama.
Yeah,
it provides drama. Yes. It provides context. Yeah. It provides ambient sound.
Right. It's like doing a live sitcom that tapes in front of a live audience and not having that laugh track. And I don't mean like a piped in laugh track. I mean like a legitimate people laughing.
We kind of need one for this show, for that matter.
Hold on a minute. Let's see if I got any laugh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You could go to Everybody Loves Raymond.
You can't hear it, but on the stream that's going out, we just heard applause.
Still hear it on the stream.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. We haven't figured out an IFB for you yet, so.
Whatever. Hey.
It's not in the budget.
No. It's definitely our budget less than zero. Yes, not in the budget. I'm expecting a huge celebration tomorrow for Willie Nelson's birthday.
Oh,
and someone else's birthday.
Oh, that's right. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Yes,
yeah.
And the last day of April.
Last day of April.
Yeah. I was supposed to be April 15th, but the stubborn mule that I am had to wait another 2 weeks.
I can see your dad not wanting you to show up on tax day.
My dad was at the Bruins. I think the Bruins were playing a Stanley Cup. Was it the Stanley Cup Finals? It might have been.
Oh, it might have been, yeah.
The day I was born. And I think I was born in the morning. It's like the little joke was, before I started doing morning radio, that was the last time I got up early. My parents love that one.
I was a Labor Day baby.
That's right, Mikey.
I was born on Labor Day, so my mom's joke was always she was in labor on Labor Day.
Not sure that's where you want to be on Labor Day, but God love her.
Yeah.
You were the last one, right?
In our clan, my family, last one.
Yeah,
youngest of four.
Which bodes well for you. You got everything you wanted, right?
Yeah. Well, my sister would argue that I had the most lenient curfew times. Although I would say that was not true, but I definitely had more lenience than she did. But boys and girls are different, I think, in that era.
Yes, and this, I can see your dad like pulling the Tom Boswell.
No, but I don't want to suggest like my parents was like when I was in high school, like in my senior year, I think I still had to be in by like 11 or 11:30. So it wasn't like I was out until 2 a.m. Kicking it down the mean streets of Mass Avenue.
You were ripping it up. I can see your dad as Mr. Richie Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah.
Putting his arm around Richie Cunningham and Richie. Let me tell you something. I'm sure your dad waited up for you all the time.
Up at that age, yeah, they both would stay up. But I wasn't really I didn't really. If I was late on the curfew, it was by like 5 minutes. It wasn't like I wasn't. I wasn't an envelope pusher.
Well, now you are.
Well, now I am. Now I push the envelope. Yeah.
Now you're beyond the pale.
Yeah.
You mean? stop with the booger sugar already, would you?
No, but the best was, I think it was like the first time Sam came over was like at a family dinner. I think it might have been Thanksgiving or something, and we decided to come clean to our parents about all the crazy stuff we did, and they were not prepared for what they heard. Not that it was bad, but I mean, it was typical teenager, early 20s hijinks.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
Mayhem. But I think so. Tomorrow, my point was tomorrow you'll have you'll have to increase the budget tomorrow because I'm expecting. You name it.
Yeah.
I'm expecting showgirls. I'm expecting cakes.
Wow.
I'm expecting presents.
You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I probably
will. We'll figure out something.
We got to figure something out. So, just to pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
But, I think sports in general, it's just, I heard a report yesterday from the NBA that the Sixers were talking about, all the NBA teams are hiring medical consultants now and 3 or 4 people.
Right.
To practice, they're going to need someone to rebound with gloves. And
right.
They have to wipe up the ball after every shot.
Right.
And they're going to have everyone's wearing masks, of course.
Right.
And just the practice is going to be hard enough. I don't know how they're going to pull it off logistically to play a game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible at this point.
Right. Well, I mean, every time out, is everyone going to get the Purell?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I mean, somewhat jokingly, but seriously, like they'll probably have to do that.
They will. I think it could definitely be that type of situation.
And not to be funny, but but that's going to have an impact from a broadcast perspective too, because the engineers are going to have to like Lysol down or wipe down the headsets after every time someone uses it, right? So if you bring a player over for the post game interview, they'll have to
have the long mic, the long arm,
or or do like the long. The boom mic is the word you're looking for, John.
Is that a boom mic, or are you just happy to see me?
You love that line, don't you?
I always have. Always have. But it works so well.
It does, yeah. Yeah. Is that a microphone in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, it's like a Pete Cronin joke.
Yes.
You've heard him.
Yeah.
You've heard him.
Heard him 1,000 times, and they're still funny the 1,000th time.
Still funny.
Yeah.
Still works for you.
Yeah.
So, now, I know you're waiting patiently on your plumber, but here's some homework tomorrow.
Okay.
I want you to think for tomorrow. I want you to think of someone who is more deserving than Bill Parcells for the Patriots Hall of Fame. And you can agree or disagree. His record is not sparkling with New England.
But you know what?
As a Patriots fan, you know what he did for that franchise.
Well, and it's funny you say that, John, because I actually had a chance to interview him. He came to a Knights game the first year we were in BB&T Ballpark. He and Dan Henning were going up the coast. I think they were making their way to Saratoga. And I think he was there to see Micah Johnson. But he had a friend in the Marlins that said, "Hey, this guy we might be interested in with the Charlotte team. Go take a look at him for me." So they stopped by, they called, they got tickets, and so he was willing to do an inning. So he came up and did an inning with me. And
excellent.
So I thanked him after. So we got off the air, and there are 2 things I told him. One was he indirectly, and I'll save this for tomorrow. He indirectly had a role in me meeting my wife, very indirectly, but I think it's a funny story. And then
now we're talking.
And the second thing was, and I said, as a Patriots fan growing up. I really appreciated when you really kind of helped kind of set the foundation for what came all those championships, because without what Bill Parcells did, maybe the craft still would have come to that point, but no,
he was, and you just hit the nail on the head. The word, the foundation. Right. He was the foundation builder. Record was not good. It was 500.
I remember
he built the foundation.
I was working with Dan Roach at the time when he was hired, and Dan Roach's wife was working at the Patriots. I think she was in like sales or something like that. And
she was.
And they set like some crazy ticket sales record the day he was hired.
1993, January 21st. Yeah, it was, and that was James Bush Orthron who hired him.
Right.
So Patriots fans owe him a debt of gratitude too.
Right. Well, even a blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then. There was some lean years, man. Victor Kiam and
it was a laughing stock. 19,000 people were showing up.
Remember bags over their heads and
Oh yeah, it was. We would kill for a 6-10 year. Late '80s. Think about it. It was that bad. So Parcells, the fact that he's not in the Patriots Hall of Fame, he's up again.
Right.
He's one of 3 candidates with Mike Vrabel and Richard Seymour. Patriots fans vote, and they haven't voted in him thus far, which is ridiculous. It's insane. I mean, not that the Patriots Hall of Fame means that much to me, but it means enough to say if Bill Parcells isn't in there, it's a joke. And Dan Shaughnessy wrote about this today. That's what sparked my thought process here. But you can think about that for tomorrow as well. I can't wait to hear your story about your wife.
Yes.
And hopefully it's salacious.
No, it's not salacious, but it's a good story, I think.
I like salaciousness.
You do like salaciousness. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially at boom mics.
When it comes to boom mics and page 6, I'm there with you.
You still want to be in page 6.
No. Or as we call it, the old inside track in the Boston Herald, it was the John Dennis Files.
Oh, man, the John Dennis Files. That doesn't exist anymore, does it? Inside track? Did they get rid of that?
It does not. Gail and Laura are retired.
Yeah.
And they were it was
Norma Nathan, right? Remember Norma Nathan? She was
Norman Nathan. That's that's way back. Yeah. But she was the original.
But you know what's funny about that?
Gossip column.
But and that's the interesting thing because now, like, basically Twitter now is the gossip column, right? But when I started in radio, you would get the Herald, the Globe. Like when I was working at HDH, you'd get the Herald, the Globe. I think they'd get the USA Today, maybe the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. But the first thing everybody looked at was page 6, like the inside track. What's
they still do in the Post?
Yeah,
I miss it on the Herald. I mean, the Herald's the shadow of what it was,
right.
As most of the business is.
I mean, the whole industry is, it's really interesting. There was a bunch of layoffs, I guess, over the weekend, and some big, some longtime sports columnists were let go, and it strikes me as, I don't know, it's sad that it's just sad what's happened in the newspaper industry. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you can't sit there and take all these losses, I guess, but there's no reason to go to these newspapers anymore. They're not replacing them with equal or at least interesting talent. They're just putting in fluff or.
Yeah, it's fluff or it's just wire service.
Or people that haven't, and this is no disrespect to these people that have taken these jobs, but they haven't earned the stripes, or they don't have the acumen or the je ne sais quoi.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
Now you're going.
No, but they don't have. I mean, let's face it, right? I mean, if Will McDonough were still alive, he'd still be at the Boston Globe. He'd be the last guy standing because people paid to read his column. Like his Saturday column in the Globe was, and maybe
the Sunday Globe sports were.
Yeah.
You couldn't miss it if you're a big sports fan.
Yeah, but but they've gutted all that. All that content is just, it's a shame. It's a shame, but you know what, Mike? Life moves on. Life moves on, and that's why
life without sports.
Life without sports.
See, we're full of transitions today.
On
folks.
A Wednesday, send us your birthday greetings to John Mita Perel. Life WO Sports @gmail.com.
Have you checked that?
Yes,
inbox?
It's still there.
Are you getting like a lot of salacious emails from people that we're not supposed to be getting emails from?
No, we are taking salacious emails. So
please. We are taking inside track like tips.
Yeah, there. So I've put up the. So you're gonna want to watch to the end of this, John, because we have a new rolling ticker at the bottom. I forgot about it. I just put it in there.
Oh, nicely done. He is so creative.
I do the best I can.
We are like a 1989 TV production now. We used to be 1976.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of finally got your lighting right.
Well, that's a never-ending quest.
Yeah, my outdoor lighting is not great. It comes and goes. But.
I'll have to change my location outdoors once the weather gets past like 50 degrees here.
Oh, so you mean like June?
Yeah, maybe July. Today's a nice day, but more rain expected for April 30th.
Yeah, overcast today here in Charlotte. 70 and overcast.
Oh, tough to be you, Mike. Well, good luck with your plumbing.
Thank you.
And we hope all your todays are the same as your tomorrows.
All right. So long, everybody.